6 Android features Apple needs to steal for the iPhone 18. The Apple ecosystem has seemed like magic for years. iPhones, iPads, and MacBooks sync so well that many people refuse to ever go back to Windows or Android. However, even the most loyal Apple supporters have to agree that iOS is often playing catch-up. While iOS 26 finally given us call screening and live translation, there are still huge gaps that Android has addressed for a decade. With the iPhone 18 set to launch in September 2026, it is time for Apple to finally steal the best features from its competitors. A foldable iPhone is finally coming. Samsung's first foldable hit shelves in 2019, Apple is still waiting to release its own. Assuming the iPhone Fold actually shows up this year, we're looking at a 7-year delay. That's a long time to sit on the sidelines. Most leaks and rumors indicate to a book-style design arriving this fall, possibly debuting with the iPhone 18 Pro versions. From what's floating around, the interior display should be approximately 7.6 inches. Think iPad mini territory, with a smaller 5.3-inch screen on the outside for notifications and fast chores. What's received the most notice, though, is the crease situation, or the apparent lack of one. Apple has apparently kept delaying because it couldn't bear the visible fold line that other manufacturers accepted. The pricing speculations look tough. Several estimate it anywhere from $2,000 to $2,500. I've desired a device that folds out to almost tablet size but still fits in my pocket for years. I've been waiting too long watching Samsung users show theirs off. Should Apple nail this, we're talking about the most radical iPhone overhaul since the original. 1. Split-screen multitasking belongs on the iPhone. The display on my iPhone 16 Pro Max measures 6.9 inches. That's bigger than plenty of Android phones that offered split-screen multitasking a decade ago. And yet, the iPhone can't do 2 apps at once. Android rolled this out with version 7 in 2016. Samsung went even farther, introducing floating windows you can drag around and resize any way you like. On iPhone, we're still flicking between apps often. What irritates me most is that Apple designed split view on the iPad ages ago. The feature exists, they just won't get it to the phone. I would use this constantly, checking my calendar while drafting an email or referencing a document without losing my place in another app, for example. These aren't exotic usage situations. They're simple productivity scenarios that Android handles simply, but iPhone users keep swiping. 2. Desktop mode would free the iPhone's wasting power. The A20 Pro CPU in newer iPhones rivals the performance of early M-series processors. All that horsepower, and when you hook into an external monitor, you only get screen mirroring. Your phone's display is reproduced on a wider screen. That's it. DeX on Samsung phones turns your Galaxy into a full workstation. Plug into a monitor, and you've got windows you can resize, a taskbar at the bottom, and full keyboard shortcut support. It genuinely functions like a computer. Someone even spotted code for a comparable capability hidden in iOS 26.1 before Apple patched it out. They're clearly working on something. When I'm away from my job and only have my phone, the ability to link into a hotel TV and obtain an actual workspace would match perfectly with my stationary Mac mini setup back home. The hardware capacity exists, but Apple's merely sitting on it. 3. Guest mode solves a problem every parent knows. Give your iPhone to a kid for a YouTube video, and you spend the whole time terrified they'll wander into your texts, go through your photo roll, or somehow send an email to your boss. Android corrected this bug years ago. Guest mode gives you a clean, temporary profile. Your personal data stays hidden. When the borrower delivers your phone back, their surfing history, any apps they accessed, and everything else is gone. And many Android phones take it farther with true multi-user setups. Different people have their own apps and accounts, so each profile has everything it needs on one device. iPhone gives you guided access. That locks the screen to whatever app is active, which works good for giving up your phone during a specific job, but is useless if you want someone to wander around without viewing your entire life. Here are 7 reasons to wait for this year's iPhone 18 Pro. Apple's iPhone development roadmap stretches many years into the future, and the corporation is continually working with suppliers on several subsequent iPhone models at the same time, which is why we regularly get rumored features months ahead of launch. The iPhone 18 series is no different, and we already have a fair sense of what to expect for the iPhone 18 Pro and iPhone 18 Pro Max. One item worth mentioning is that Apple is apparently considering a dramatic change to its iPhone release cycle this year, adopting a two-phase rollout starting with the iPhone 18 series. That means the iPhone 18 Pro, iPhone 18 Pro Max, and iPhone Fold will be released in September 2026, followed by the iPhone 18 and iPhone 18e in spring 2027. 1. iPhone 17 Pro style. Rumors claim the iPhone 18 Pro lineup will mostly keep the same design as the iPhone 17 Pro variants. The back camera system will seem identical to the current version, with a raised plateau with 3 lenses grouped in a triangle. Display sizes are also likely to remain unaltered, with the iPhone 18 Pro and iPhone 18 Pro Max continuing to use 6.3-inch and 6.9-inch displays, respectively, the same dimensions launched with the iPhone 16 Pro series. iPhone 18 Pro models could ditch the existing two-tone design of the rear case, found on the iPhone 17 Pro, in favor of a more seamless style. For the next generation devices, Apple has supposedly modified the back glass replacement process to eliminate the color difference between the ceramic Shield 2 glass and the metal frame, resulting in a more uniform appearance. 2. Bigger battery. According to one report, the body of the iPhone 18 Pro Max will be slightly thicker than the iPhone 17 Pro Max, bringing the device's weight to roughly 243 grams. That would make the iPhone 18 Pro Max around 3 grams higher than the iPhone 14 Pro Max, which is now the heaviest model Apple has created. We don't know the specific explanation for the purported thicker design of the iPhone 18 Pro Max, but larger battery is the most plausible cause. 4. Smaller dynamic island. Under-screen Face ID. Rumors continue to circulate regarding whether the iPhone 18 Pro versions would incorporate under-display Face ID, but reports remain divided on when the technology will really come. The innovation would place the true depth camera system beneath the display, eliminating the requirement for the existing dynamic island cutout. According to Wayne Ma of The Information, Apple is eyeing a design without a dynamic island, replacing it with a single pinhole camera in the upper left corner of the screen. However, other sources reject that claim. Display analyst Ross Young believes under-display Face ID is likely for the iPhone 18 Pro, but says a smaller dynamic island will still be present. Bloomberg's Mark Gurman has echoed this opinion, claiming that the new models will include a slimmed-down dynamic island rather than deleting it totally. Apple is also rumored to be researching new camera shrinking technology to lower the size of the front-facing camera currently situated within the dynamic island. Meanwhile, Chinese leaker Instant Digital has supplied yet another version of events, suggesting the dynamic island will drop in size, but that under-display Face ID and camera technology won't come next year. Overall, the consensus implies Apple may be improving the dynamic island before fully switching to an all-screen design in future generations. 5. The A20 Pro chip. The iPhone 18 Pro versions will employ Apple's A20 chip, based on TSMC's 2nm technology for power and efficiency advantages. A transition to 2nm production boosts transistor density, which will enable higher performance. The A20 series is predicted to give around a 15% speed boost and about 30% higher efficiency compared with the A19 series utilized in Apple's iPhone 17 models. Apple's A20 chip will be packaged with TSMC's wafer-level multi-chip module technology, suggesting at least some A20 chips will have RAM integrated directly onto the same wafer as the CPU, GPU, and neural engine, rather than sitting adjacent to the chip and connected via a silicon interposer. This could lead to speedier performance for both overall workloads and Apple Intelligence, and longer battery life from greater power efficiency. 6. New camera sensor. Samsung is developing on a new 3-layer stacked picture sensor, apparently designed for the iPhone 18. The sensor, referred known as PDTR logic, includes 3 layers of circuitry, which will improve camera responsiveness, minimize noise, and expand dynamic range. The leak comes from a source known as Jucanless Reeve, who claims the sensor is being created exclusively for Apple's 2026 iPhone series. Sony has long been Apple's sole image sensor provider, so Samsung's arrival would represent a huge move in the iPhone's camera supply chain. Apple aims to equip this year's iPhone 18 Pro models with a variable aperture lens, according to rumors. Waymo-based Leaker Digital Chat Station reports the main rear camera, what Apple calls the 48-megapixel Fusion camera, on both iPhone 18 Pro variants would provide variable aperture, which would be a first for the iPhone. A variable aperture technology physically adjusts the lens opening, letting more light in for low-light images or narrowing the opening for brighter scenes and deeper depth of focus. The main cameras in the iPhone 15 Pro, 16 Pro, and 17 Pro all employ a fixed f/1.78 aperture, where the lens is permanently set to its widest setting. With a changeable lens, the iPhone 18 Pro would allow users to manually shift the aperture, akin to on a DSLR camera. This would mean more control over depth of field, enabling tighter focus on subjects or smoother background blur. Industry expert Ming-Chi Kuo predicted in November 2024 that Apple's iPhone 18 Pro versions will gain the capability. 7. Finally, 5G satellite internet. According to a report by The Information, Apple aims to add support for 5G networks that operate via satellites rather than Earth-based towers as early as next year. This development would allow future iPhones to receive full internet connectivity through satellite, not only limited emergency services. If Apple fulfills the 2026 target, the first handsets to have 5G satellite internet will presumably be the iPhone 18 Pro, iPhone 18 Pro Max, and the long-rumored foldable iPhone. Apple partners with Globalstar for its iPhone satellite features, but there is presently no service that gives full 5G satellite internet directly to a smartphone, and the story did not indicate who would supply it. So, that's all we know for now. We'll be sure to keep you updated as soon as we have more information. Thanks for watching.